Welcome to our next short reading and Bible reflection for the 3rd of February 2021 to accompany our communion service on that day. So, reading from the Bible, Mark chapter 6, verses 1 to 6. Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. "Where did this man get these things?" they asked. "What's this wisdom that has been given him? What are these remarkable miracles he is performing? Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home." He could not do any miracles there, except lay his hands on a few people who were ill and heal them. He was amazed at their lack of faith. Then Jesus went around teaching from village to village. There is the saying, familiarity breeds contempt. That saying is about getting bored with someone or something and then treating them or it with less respect than you would otherwise do. Well, in this reading, Jesus' neighbours are clearly not showing him any respect. "Isn't this the carpenter?" They simply couldn't understand how the carpenter could hold such wisdom and the ability to complete miracles and healings. They thought they knew the carpenter. He was a bit rough and ready, but they thought they knew him, and equally they were then ready to dismiss him. They are brought up short when they hear Jesus' wisdom, when they see the things that Jesus could do, and because of this there is a clear disconnect between their expectations of the carpenter and what Jesus was doing. So the people of Nazareth turn against him. Jesus tells them a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. And interestingly, he could not do any miracles there, except lay his hands on a few people who were ill and heal them. And he was amazed at their lack of faith. That's a fascinating insight into Jesus' character. Faith is clearly a big motivator for Jesus. Here he was amazed at their lack of faith in him. I can imagine him speaking to his disciples later saying, "Well, why don't they believe me?" And because of their lack of belief and trust in who Jesus says he is, so Jesus could only do a few miracles in his hometown. So a link between miraculous activity and our own trust and belief in Jesus is made. In some way, it is a bit of a circular argument, because many people would believe in God if they could see miraculous proof of God's activity, if they could clearly hear that wisdom. Yet you first need a level of faith, not much faith, it has to be said, but still a little bit of faith in order to see and understand more of the miraculous things and wisdom that God gives. Trust is a big thing then. We need to trust God, and as we do so, his wisdom and the miraculous become in more focus to us. Then, because of the people's lack of trust in Jesus, he then moves on to other places to teach his wisdom and perform miracles there, to signpost other folk towards the kingdom of God. Again, there's an interesting insight. It's not a case of Jesus bashing away in his hometown until people get who he is, the Son of God. He moves on to those who may get him, who will put their trust in him, and his wisdom connects with them deeply. What can we draw from this to help our relationship with Jesus today? Well, firstly, we can see that knowing Jesus will bring tension. It most definitely did for Jesus himself, and for us as we speak of him to others, then we do need to be prepared for the response to be sometimes less than impressive. A second thought, Jesus' teachings bring wisdom, a deep lived in experience of life. That's what wisdom is. Actually, it's not deep knowledge, but lived experience of life. So if you want to know how best to tackle life, why not look for Jesus' wise teaching to help you? Wisdom is very important in life. And seeing the effects of the miraculous too does draw you to take more heed of Jesus' wisdom. Lastly, there is the real issue of trust and belief. Essential to this story is the issue of the good people of Nazareth's lack of trust and faith in Jesus. One of the punchlines in this episode must be for us to do what we can to deepen our trust and belief in who Jesus is. Spend time with people who have trust and belief in Jesus, and your own faith and trust in him will grow. Maybe we will see more of God's miraculous activity and understand his wisdom more deeply in our own lives too.